This video is all about crappie. We're going to give you the best proven tips, techniques, and baits you need to catch the best white crappie and black crappie in every lake you fish. And we're going to give you a couple of these. Okay, here are the tips we're going to cover today. And make sure you stick around to the very end for two amazing pro hacks you're never going to hear anywhere else. You don't want to miss them. The hands-down favorite bait to use to catch crappie in any lake anywhere in the United States is the live emerald shiner minnow. It is pure caviar to every crappie that actually has a pulse. You can always add a live minnow or two to any jig you use to up your chances of catching even more crappie more dramatically. Crappie also love crickets and grasshoppers live, and you can usually catch these yourself in tall grass, and that'll save you a few bucks and you'll have some fun along the way. So here are two really amazing pro hacks we're going to tell you about to keep your emerald shiners alive for more than half a day. Add some hydrogen peroxide into the minnow water. That will add oxygen, keep them alive longer. And ice cubes and baggies will also keep them cooler longer. But if you can't get live minnows, the next best thing is my favorite, and that is the fluorescent green colored chartreuse or pink or orange lead head jigs with blood red hooks and a nice soft trailer or skirt like you've been seeing here. It doesn't matter where you fish. This is my absolute number one year-round bait to catch slabs in any type of water. And that's what I caught that 19-inch monster you saw at the intro on. The Squirm and Squirt trailer you've been seeing here is heavily salt impregnated, and it really makes the crappie open its paper mouth as soon as it hits the water. And the salt also makes them hold on longer, so you never miss the hook set, and you can properly land more fish every time. And make sure you've always got a jig buster in your tackle box. It's hard to get that pain out of the eye if you don't have one. We also love the fluorescent green and pink crankbaits made by Wally Marshall Strike King Mr. Crappie. They have super sharp blood red treble hooks and blood red eyes. You control these very effectively for catching crappie year-round, and you're going to catch bass too. This fluorescent green chartreuse and hot pink color combinations are proven crappie killers. That's the colors we've caught literally hundreds, if not thousands of crappie on over the years. And you always hear me talking about blood red hooks. That is your extra advantage every time because red is the color of blood, which science has proven makes a fish trigger more predatory strikes than a brass or steel hook. So just make sure all your jigs and crankbaits and lures have sharp blood red hooks at all times, and you will always catch more fish than the angler next to you who doesn't. Of course, there are literally hundreds of crappie baits out there to choose from, just like there are for bass soft plastics. The good thing about crappie fishing is many times in lakes where there are crappie, there are also bass. And bigger slabs will also hit some of these smaller bass plastics and crawfish colors. That's the double bonus of crappie fishing. You'll also catch bass along the same way. Both are found in heavy cover, and both strike baits with absolute force. Lots of fun. Crappie, like many fish, really prefer cover, like fallen trees and brush piles, wooden docks, and areas of heavy vegetation. Crappie are also a schooling fish, which means when you find one, stick around because there's likely more in that same spot. They prefer to feed early in the morning in low light conditions and at night, where they will typically move into shallower water to look for food. They will always be looking for areas of heavy forage and vegetation, so that's always going to be your best bet to catch crappie any time of the day. Crappie are primarily sight feeders, so using the right colors does matter. And when you're fishing in darker stained waters, you got to use the fluorescent colors we've told you about. You can also consider various scent enhancements they sell, which can also help trigger a slow bite. Okay, we've covered the right baits to use and when to go after them. Now, how do we catch them? Well, it's always a good idea to rig 2 rods and 2 baits and fish them at different depths, especially if you're fishing with a partner, so you can find where the crappie are holding. Of course, if you're out on a boat and you find a large school of fish, softly drop the anchor down and fish under a nice stick bobber or a float, and you'll likely fill your cooler up in no time with a bunch of slabs. So the best proven ways to catch crappie, no matter the lake you fish, is vertical jigging the lures and baits we've talked about. Also trolling jigs and the crankbaits we showed you, and simple and easy, casting out your baits, retrieving them, making slow pauses during the retrieve. All you need is a 6 or a 6.5 foot light to medium action spinning rod made of sensitive graphite so you'll feel the slightest of nibbles. And a lighter rod is going to let you feel the fish better and make for a much more exciting fight. Okay, we've saved the absolute best tips for last. Thanks for watching. You can take these to the bank. So earlier we told you the emerald shiner minnow is the favorite bait for every crappie. If it's legal to do this and chum the waters in your state, what you're going to do is grind up some of the old emerald shiner minnows that didn't make it on your fishing trip. You're going to freeze them in ice cubes. You're out on the boat, you drop the ice cubes down into various locations while you're throwing your jigs and baits in those areas. That is a proven way to get the bite to happen. And just as good as the ice cube trick is the squirm and squirt weedless that allows you to get into the thickest of cover where the biggest slabs are going to be hiding. This tip will exponentially increase your chances of catching the best and biggest crappie in your favorite lake. Go out and get them and let us know how you do.